So, 5 months ago-ish, he said it was 5 months. I believe him. I uncritically covered Alec Gunter's coverage of card posting. Card posting is a guy on the internet. Card posting, with all due respect, I know he's probably going to watch this, has an unsettling energy to him. I don't know if it's because he's nervous. I don't know if it's because that's how he is, or if he's maybe just an unsettlingly energetic guy. But I accidentally put my reaction to cringe ahead of my critical thinking skills. And I uncritically repeated stuff that Alec was saying, which apparently Alec has apologized for. In retrospect, I can't really remember much of the coverage other than I said card posting looked almost literally like a real life version of Bert from Bert and Ernie, which I still kind of stand by. I don't know if he's a bad guy or a good guy, but he made a response video. I listened to this on another stream. I listened to this on Chud Logic's stream, and it kind of slapped. I'm not gonna lie. I also listened to I can't believe this. Card posting made a Sneed posting video. If you know what that is, you are balls deep in 4chan. This guy has more 4chan knowledge than I think fucking I do. I swear to God, card posting is about it. He knows about Chuck's fucking suck. You guys think I've been laughing about the other guy I was talking about a second ago? I've actually just had card posting staring at me on screen for 5 minutes. And I love this guy. I believe he's an Australian creator. He had some issues with Alec Gunter. In that time, it is what it is. I talked to Alec. Alec is from Cincinnati, or lives in and around Cincinnati, whatever. He works as a nurse up there, which he's open about. And Alec has not had a particularly great last few months. Not like he's doing terrible on his channel or anything. It just seems like he was feeling pretty fucking down about stuff. I've been kind of supportive just because he's a person in my area. But that bridge was never really built. We kind of said some friendly stuff to each other, but that's kind of it. But I'm going to cover this. Alec, if you have a response, if you end up in chat, please just wait so I can give card posting his due. He makes a lot of responses to stuff that Alec Gunter has said. And if you want to talk about it after, I will be open to talking about it after. But we're going to go ahead and turn this up to 1080. We're going to go ahead and turn this playback speed up to 1.25 because we got a lot to cover. And we're going to go ahead and kick this off. Did that just die? What? Hold on. Oh. What? Hold on a second. There we go. Okay, I hit this.
And I like to make simple little videos here on YouTube about Hello there, my name's Card. And I like to make simple little videos here on YouTube about all sorts of things I'm interested in. Today, I just want to talk for a little bit about the nature of online call-out posts and videos, and why they typically don't amount to much at all.
So, my man has a delivery that's a touch intense. It's a little intense. It is because I believe in card posting, if you pop through or you're in the comments, you can correct me. I think he's reading his script on the monitor to his left or whatever, and then looking at the camera again and again, and just has a bit of unsettling energy. So this made me judge him inappropriately at the first time. But you will see this here. We'll get through it.
I'm going to start by using the streamer Vouch as an example. For one thing, we all know that if I put his handle in the video's title...
Bro looks like a face peeler. He kind of does, with all due respect.
But two, we also all know why he's a good example to start with anyway. If you're watching this, realistically, you know who Vouch is. One of the biggest regular lefty content creators online, and also, crucially, one of the most scandal-prone. Not without reason either. Personally, I don't even keep up with day-to-day internet drama or the deep Vouch lore, but just off the top of my head...
Hey, let me get some thumbs up in chat if that's loud enough, or if it's too loud. Tell me no.
I know he's got a long and kind of dubious history of playing devil's advocate around age of consent laws. I believe he went over the line making unwanted sexual remarks towards some chick he was debating at least once. And most recently, the whole internet rightfully clowned on him for inadvertently showing off his pedophilic bestiality cartoon porno collection live on stream. But point is, as completely justified as any other person online would be to criticize Vaush for everything like that he's done, just making online criticism of someone doesn't bring about change and doesn't fix anything. I don't want to get too stuck up on litigating whether or not any specific criticizable online figure is good or bad here. What you need to take away from an example like this is that if you want to properly affect some change in, for example, who has a large voice and platform online, it's not enough to make all those solid critiques of someone solely to the echo chamber of your own audience. You need to give A, that person's own supporters and subscribers and viewers and what have you, a reason to care enough to walk away from a content creator they previously engaged with, and B, you need to directly give that figure's peers and collaborators a reason to firmly disassociate themselves from the person you're critiquing.
I agree with
that. If you
that.
don't have those two things, you're just howling into the void. With a figure like Vaush, again, to return to such a convenient example, because of his large base of loyal subscribers, you would admittedly be fighting uphill here. But if I, for one, wanted to pressure him to drastically reform his actions or even just apologize for what he's said and done in the past, the go-to way for that would be to look into all the smaller lefty streamer channels in his orbit that basically do the same thing he does every day, but typically with a different aesthetic presentation or something. There's a bunch of Vaush clones floating around out there online who aren't just copying his basic format and style because they hope it'll work for them. They do it because he's got a whole proper network and a website system that hosts their content they want to buddy up to. And if you want Vaush to change, it wouldn't even really be enough to just get all those people to denounce him and move on with their day either. You would have to specifically boycott, for lack of a better term, all of those smaller Vaush orbiting creators and hope that they all saw enough of a drop in revenue and or viewership that they ask Vaush to meaningfully address the situation and make some real changes to how he acts in order to dissipate the criticism. You don't just denounce Vaush, you
But yeah, I love this.
divest from him. And it's like,
Oh, it's actually raining. Okay, I can hear that now on my system. I thought it was raining here because it's been getting ready to rain. It's raining in his video, and he doesn't have the setup to keep the rain from showing up. Or there's a small fire burning in the room as well. It was also possible. But this setup is fucking amazing, and I love it because it's so deeply unsettling. The series of QRT or CRT TV monitors is my favorite part. The yellowed monitors is like a just a detail beyond details. I don't know what this flag is up here. I love it.
like any proper divestment movement in real life. If you can't meaningfully affect your target, materially or financially, you move on to seeing if you can impact the next level down in the food chain in the hopes that there will be some sort of knock-on effect. Let's say you care about palm forest logging because you're worried about orangutans going extinct or whatever.
Gig and Greg, why do people keep saying Vaush? I think his name is actually kind of hard for people to say. Vaush is first off, VAUSH has no corollary in English. Really, I can't. I don't know of anything else that has an AUSH that I can think of immediately, right? So, like, it's a very weird vowel combination. AUSH, like, osh. Normally, it would be like, it would be almost anything else. So, it's like, that's the only way you can make that sound, Vosh. But also, it's very American to pronounce it because he made it in America. So, it's novel to English in American. And Vaush would be kind of more how it would be also said to Vash, VAHSH would be one. Vash would be VA. Voosh, VO umlaut. Vush, Vash. So like it's just a weirdly spelled, weird as fuck name. And even I find myself mispronouncing it, not intending to do the like Voosh, Vosh, Vaush. It's because Vosh is actually weirdly hard to say. And especially once you pack other words around it. And there's no like consistent, because it's not always like Vosh. It's like Vosh, 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 Vosh. Like all of those are different words. You know what I mean?
You and everyone else online who cares about orangutans have absolutely zero sway over the corporate decisions of palm oil harvesting logger companies. So you try your best to bring a campaign together that aims to get people to stop buying and using products made with irresponsibly sourced palm oil, like Nestle chocolate, for example. Then, if or when that doesn't work, you go another rung lower on the corporate ladder and try to get people to stop financially supporting, say, contracted regional dairy suppliers and local distributors that Nestle's corporate office relies on for domestic production. And theoretically, if you do that well enough, the company in question will see enough financial incentive and pressure coming from its business partners that they'll change their actions to appease the divestment campaign. Or, let's say a signed recording artist goes on a wild, bigoted tirade on social media, and afterwards they refuse to apologize or recant their words. So, let's say you don't want them to have a big public platform to keep doing that. Ideally, you want their label to drop them. But just a half-hearted boycott of their work alone probably won't accomplish that. If you can organize that enough people boycott, say, every other artist with the same label, those other artists will likely pressure their corporate bosses to axe whoever's causing all that undue grief for them within the...
There are, dude, if you guys can listen to this later with your headphones on, there are crazy background noises happening. I have been listening to non-stop Dungeons of Fear and Hunger, or whatever it's called, Termina, lore dumps from, I almost want to shut the guy's name is like Matt Dowd or something, I don't know. Just look up like Sulfur God, Fear and Hunger. I've been listening to Fear and Hunger lore dumps and playing fucking Elden Ring in my free time for the last couple of days, which is sparse. And so now on top of that, I've been hearing the Fear and Hunger theme song, or not theme songs, but like soundtrack, which is really, really also sparse and unsettling. And now on top of that, I'm listening to him and I'm hearing the background noises of what's going on in his video. And Cardposting is not yet speaking about things that I'm 100% interested in, but I feel like I can hear some sort of like massive rainstorm and like weird birds and shit in the background. Like, what is on the other side of the walls around this man? Like, where is he? I'm so fucking interested in what's going on around Cardposting. Oh my God.
The company. That's two examples. You get the idea. Sometimes this sort of thing works, sometimes it doesn't. But at least hypothetically, all businesses and sole traders want and need to protect their financial interests. So significantly threatening that financial interest because someone they're linked to is bad with anything. So that's all the basic theory out of the way. Now I have to admit, I didn't just choose to invoke Vouch in the title of this video for completely hypothetical reasons. Because I do have a novel, Vouch adjacent problem I want to bring people's attention to. But it's not with the man himself, it's with someone in his orbit. A little bit of primer here. Vouch is the center of a network of online content creators who cover similar topics and support one another and who collaborate. I believe they might also get all their streaming websites made by the same group or be formally financially linked behind the scenes, but I'm not terminally online enough to know for sure. The point is, I've got a very big, important problem with someone in that group that needs to be brought to light. Alec Gunter is a self-described former conservative turned leftist.
So it begins. One thing I've always tried to avoid, I really do actively try to avoid it. Why do I keep fucking... I've been laughing too hard. One thing I try to avoid is embarrassing photos of people. Sometimes people don't have any embarrassing ones, but I appreciate it when you see people start feeling a little petty. They start feeling a little petty and you start seeing the ugly photos come out. Shout out the blacklisted streamer for having to run me through AI and I still turned out hot.
Variety streamer who became quasi-prominent here on YouTube after he got involved in Vouch's clique. Then Vouch promoted him a bit, highlighted a shouting match Gunter got into with Matt Walsh, and basically raised him up from a subscribership of practically nothing to over 10,000 overnight. Ever since, Gunter's considered himself something of an up-and-comer in the lefty political streamer space. And every so often, he'd do what a lot of political streamers do on a slow news day. He'd find someone else's YouTube video.
Is that a Sonic ice cream? Was it? Cardposting is so sus. So sus. I don't know if Cardposting... I feel like Cardposting is on like fucking Riddler levels of layers. Like that deep. Cause like the direct connection to it possibly being like Sonichu shit is right there. Connecting anybody to Sonic is like, it's an ancient dig. Also, yeah, if Gunter's from or in Cincy, the Cincinnati ice cream trucks sell those Sonic ice cream cones. They look like fucking mutants, if that's what that was. It was blue and white, which is the color they are.
Video and just do a reaction stream to it. And earlier this year, Gunter decided one day to do a stream.
I like Alec. Card is just a weird drama guy posing as a leftist. Maybe. The difference in your thumbnails and the blacklist is stark in your charitability about whoever you're talking about. Yeah. Look, I'm going to let him go. Card posting reached out to me personally, literally, to say, hey, I made a response video, so we're going to give him the response video, because I also uncritically just watched Gunter's stuff, and then Gunter popped in, Papa G, and talk shit. I'm not mad at either of them. I don't really take this shit that fucking serious, with the notable exception of when literal crimes against children are committed, which I think is a pretty reasonable point to shift up your level of intensity. So I'm more just trying to give Card Posting his due, because especially he reached out specifically to me. So I'm not gonna like watch this with like the full on like fucking, you know, the meme like relationship broke with Alec Gunter. I'm friends with Card Posting now. It's not that serious. I don't even think me and fucking Alec have much of a relationship anyway. We've like talked to each other a few times. I threw him like a $10 dono when he came back to streaming, and that's pretty much it.
One of my videos. Which, despite the fact that
don't get excited about this being a hard
nothing
statement.
Inherently bad about doing that sort of thing. Believe me, I'm not just anti-streamer or anti-React content. But that did happen to lead to the problem we have today. See, in case you don't know anything about me or what I do here on YouTube, I'm a long-time progressive community organizer and activist. Although, of course, what political organizing you can do online is pretty limited, so that's not what I do here. But my background doing that for close to a decade now informs a lot of the stuff I like to upload to YouTube. For a while, just as something of a hobby, I've been basically making short, simple video essays where I talk to camera just like this. But I think for about a year now, every second video I've done has been about a short 3 to 5 minute piece, part of a series I call Dog Whistles 101, where I explain an obtuse reactionary meme, what it means, and how to spot the people who post it so they don't fly under your radar. Decent premise, I think, and it seems to be something no other progressive online is doing exactly. And one of those I did was on the topic of the Friend World meme, and explaining how wannabe neo-Nazis use baby talk to signal to one another. And Alec Gunter decided to do a live react of that video, and he uploads it afterwards as a video called Please Don't Be Weird About Dog Whistles. And I think he did a pretty poor job here.
He got him in the thumbnail. I think this is a good one. This is a good one. This isn't like offensive at all. Look very, very sincere.
He essentially comes into the video saying he's never heard of this thing before, so he doesn't think it's real. He tries to paint me as neurotic for believing it's a thing, and he needlessly calls me an arsehole a lot throughout, and essentially tries to woke scold dunk on me and say I'm bad optics for the online left.
Is it that bad? I've only ever seen people use it like funny. You know what I mean? Like a meme. Here, let's do a quick experiment. The whole reason I'm watching this is because I think it's silly. It is that bad? No, it's not. I just don't see it being used in a bad way, from what I can tell. You would be hard-pressed to convince me that that's how it originally started. You know what I mean? I don't know about that. I don't know. Like, okay, I could be wrong, but it seems very silly. Oh, I saw you say friends on Twitter the other day when talking about your stuffed animals. Hello, white nationalist. Fellow white nationalist, how do you do? Like, what? It doesn't work. He comes off like a shrill, streaking liberal. It's too liberal for me. It's too libby. Gross. I don't want to coalition build with this asshole because he's probably, like, I don't know for sure, but based on this video, the impression I'm getting is that this guy cannot take a punch, metaphorically, okay? Like, he just can't.
Now, I'm actually not someone afraid of criticism or unwilling to stand by what I say. So, the very next day, I make a video of my own responding to Gunter, wherein I explain essentially, in detail, why I'm right about the fact that Friend World
Alec Gunter woke scold
definitely was an alt-right thing.
So yeah, friends, and that is alt-right shit. That specifically, that's Groiper shit. That he's just correct. That's just known. Friend posting is just that is literally correct. That's still very common. That you'll see like on Twitter and in any other space where like they can make names. You'll see Groips. It'll be like comfy Groip friend. You know, just another friend, goy friend, stuff like that. The whole, that's Pepe posting. It's like the language version of Pepe posting. Baby talk is maybe a little bit off about it. It's a little imperfect, but I can't think of a better word, so it's probably would stand. But if you're trying to like, it's not like goo goo gaga. It's kind of a purposely mentally slowed down version of speech that is intentionally designed to be less confrontational so that you can say more extreme shit, but couched in chill. Ooh woo stuff is baby talk. So, like that one psycho chick. It's like, oh, you just want to talk about genocide, ooh woo. That stuff. Like, it's the same, literally the same thing, with just a different sort of syntax attached. But that's really well known. To the point where it's all over the fucking like Chan board. It's actually kind of like old hat at this point. Only Groypers do it because Groypers kind of never change. They're a fan club for a specific type of existence, so they remain static. But yeah, even more so to the point where people do it now sometimes to try to like reclaim Pepe posting. You know what I mean? So you have like angry Pepes and shit and like Hassan's stuff, but you won't see them necessarily friend posting. Taking slang that teens use especially. Yeah.
He could have used the computer in front of him to Google the word and educate himself. Among the first results would be this Wiktionary page explaining the word's meaning and how it's used as a dog whistle. Numerous
friend predates the Groypers, I think. I would not be able to speak to that because I don't really know the timeline for Groypers because they started off embarrassing and continued to be embarrassing, and I'm really surprised that people gave them the time of day. They kind of worked perfectly. Like, if you guys know, Groypers are like Nick Fuentes fans. They're neo-Nazis or like neo-Nazi irony poisoned irony posters. They're really like they're not the reason why, but they're an offshoot of like the whole alt-right like ecosystem of the mid 2010s that sort of paved the way for like Pepe posting and shit. They all fucking know each other. They used to hang like fucking Spencer and it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Nobody likes the Groypers, but the Groypers themselves were intentionally cringe. They know that they're being cringe. That's part of the whole thing, is that they're cringe and stupid so that you can't argue with them because there's nothing to argue with. They just want to say slurs. And not as effective nowadays, but back in 2016, it was a fire sale because that was sort of like the end of like nose up liberalism, kind of typified by like the Hillary Clinton campaign and the sort of voices online that were highly supportive of that. Was that they were like, oh my God, I can't believe you just said the N-word. And they'd be like, just, they'll post it all the way down. If you don't give a shit about that, then they don't really got that much other than they just call everybody pedophiles and they do like little harassment campaigns to try to get people fucking fired up. But that's kind of it. But basically they look like an easy target if you are an up your own ass hyperlib. Kind of like fucking Alec came off there kind of the same way, you know. If you're up your own ass about it and you're like, oh, you know, these guys are going to be easy pickings and stuff. The point for them is not to ever win a fight. They don't care about arguing. They're just going to say slurs and then like do like, you know, 1750 meme posting and shit, 1488 shit. And just use a bunch of coded language to try to talk right past you because that's what's fun for them. They're kind of like mental terrorists, which I have respect for their methods, if not the people themselves. But that's the point of friend post. It really is actually like a good call out. I have to give it to Cardposting. I don't think that's the one I saw him talking about. I can't even remember what I saw him talking about. I might be fucked up on it. I hope I didn't go back there and say like it wasn't a big deal. I mean, it's not a huge thing to notice it, but like it's a good call because friend post is literally real. It's just a literal thing that they still do to this day. Way less common than mid 2010s. Mid 2010s, that shit was people's entire life. You know, nowadays you just have your average Groyper with like 15 sock accounts just talking to themselves and like two other guys on Twitter having gigantic friend conversations. But that's the point of it, is for it to be kind of unassuming and making you think that either A, it's not like there's no threat to them, or B, that you can kind of like go in and clear house because you misunderstand their kind of like open stupidity for being unable to engage with you in a way that's effective on their side. But yeah, it is what it is. I'm talking about this too much.
First Reddit posts explaining the same thing from around the time the admins over there started cracking down on this sort of thing. I found this reporting from the ADL about a very popular alt-right Substack page called Pepe's Friend Zone, as well as entries on both Know Your Meme and Rational Wiki for what those are worth.
TLC,
And in that video, I even get to do a little bit of banter back, showing that I'm not some precious neurotic lib who can't roll with the punches. Alec, I appreciate that you think it's good to be able to take those metaphorical punches. So, real talk here. You shouldn't be commenting on how anyone else's video background looks, or calling them fragile lefty stereotypes. Your setup looks like this. Between the hipster beard, and the flannel shirt, and the slack jaw, and the glasses, and the pink lighting, and the gamer chair, and the fact you call yourself a leftist variety streamer, if you were more familiar with reactionary online terminology, you might know this all forms an archetype that a lot of people call the soy new male bugman. Thankfully, though, you're pretty ignorant about this kind of stuff, so you won't know it's meant to be derogatory. And there's a bit of back and forth after that. Next day, Gunter does another video where he tries to reframe every...
Oh my god. I'm gonna be so embarrassed if I look back on my old shit and I didn't laugh at that or something. That's... Cardposting has stared into the abyss, and the abyss stared back into him. I know what it fucking did. I don't know if you understand this about yourself, sir, but the way you're put together, you look like a soy new male bugman. God damn, that's a throat slit. Oh.
Everything he said, and act like he wasn't saying I was wrong about the topic we were discussing, and that he wasn't trying to take those little pot shots at me and my appearance.
Just a guy coming in from the outside, seeing that there was somebody upset about that word. And I clicked on it out of curiosity because I'm like, okay, what is this now nowadays? Yeah, see, that's my problem, is that you just get into this weird funk of always looking for dog whistles. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he did this. I'm not saying he encouraged people to do this, but that's the vibe that I got. I didn't see the videos that just that people take dog whistles too far. My point is that the word friends, F-R-E-N-S, did not seem like that much of a dog whistle to me. Another thing I'll also point out is that I think I did ignore part of what he was trying to say, and that's that, like, they will use these things interpersonally with one another.
Leave my boy Alex alone. His name's Alec. See, it's on...
Right? That's how they kind of talk to each other, I guess. Which, if that's true, I can't really speak to that. I don't know of anybody who does that, but apparently I got some comments saying that confirmed that, yes, they do that, like, baby speak thing interpersonally, and so I was wrong about that part. I don't know. Like, the whole thing seems silly. And it still does. I still think that it seems silly. That little rant right there was my perspective as a former conservative. That's what I'm thinking going into this video as somebody who's never heard the word friends before. Thinking, okay, why should I personally care about this word friends? He didn't make a good case. I'm sorry, dude. You just literally...
I spit took. Did I not hear this? I was not paying attention. I pre-watched this a little bit, but I didn't pay that much attention to it. I was playing Helldivers and shit, so like completely unfocused. God damn, I almost killed myself. I breathed in some coconut, creamy coconut Dr. Pepper. Oh my. I can't remember. I'm gonna have to watch back my old one. Hold on. I gotta double check this shit. No, I've completely lost this one. I can't find it. It's lost. When I covered this, my channel was like a fucking less than half the size it is now. So like, I don't even think I show up in my own results. Oh fuck, it might be in the unlisted section. I unlisted like a lot of the old ones. By the way, come like November-ish, just so everybody knows, I am probably going to start a second channel for VOD Gang, where I'm going to put all the VODs after they upload and stuff. I'm going to cut off the fronts and backs of them and chop them up a little bit, and then re-upload them to YouTube on a different, because it's just the current page is just way overloaded with content, and I think I'm getting like deprioritized in the algorithm for just having an insane upload schedule.
Really did not make a good case, and now you're coping about it. By the way,
She says no videos are made on Cardposting, just VOD. Okay, well.
Didn't say anything against his looks. Nothing.
And, long story short, maybe a couple of weeks later, He puts out another whole new video, having completely abandoned the premise of wanting to debate whether or not Friendworld is a thing, called Fake BreadTuber Exposed, Cardposting's Crimes. Now,
I think
clearly
that
my
might be the
earlier
one I
responses to
saw.
Gunter hit his ego pretty bad, because now he's just straight up making things up and trying to clutch wildly at anything which might make him look retrospectively like the aggrieved party. Now, I already made a long video months back now breaking down exactly why everything Gunter brings up here is wrong. And I also talk about a lot of the stuff he doesn't mention that he was doing behind the scenes at the time, like sending me a bunch of emails trying to plead with me to debate him and he threatening me, and I'll link that in the description of this video. In fact, I'll be linking all the videos I've mentioned or alluded to up to this point right at the top of the video's description, myself's and Gunter's, for the sake of complete transparency, in chronological release order, so you can see firsthand for yourself how we've unfortunately gotten to this point. But I'll run through the quick version of what Gunter did and claimed I've done and why that's bogus, all as briefly as I can here. Firstly, prior to making his video, he began sending a bunch of emails to me every day for a while, claiming he wanted to make up for the fact he came across like a meathead.
Hey Card, this is Alex Gunter from YouTube. In case you were wondering, I did watch your most recent video on me, and I do have some thoughts, but that's not the crux of what this email is about. First off, I want to assure you that I message you in good faith. I understand that you have done real progressive work in your community, and the last thing I want to do is discredit that. My only goal in reaching out is to see if we can come to understand each other better. I know I came off like a meathead in my videos, but I assure you I'm more intelligent than I typically act. I know that feeling. I was directed to your deconstructing cis heterotorn for fun and clout by someone who reached out to me, and I have several thoughts on some of the things said in this video. Further, I'd like to talk to you directly about my contentions with your content and how you present yourself. My goal at the end of the day is to build up an attractive leftist space and make it the best it can be, pulling in as many people as possible who will end up supporting progressive values. So I'm willing to hear you out if you can hear me out. I'd like to do it in front of my audience as well as a show of good faith and transparency rather than an edited and cherry-picked video. Let me know what you think and if you'd like to set something up. Respectfully, Alec Gunter. Don't know when this is from.
In his videos, and saying he wanted to do a live discussion. Then when I was totally disinterested in that, he pivoted to debate me, bro, or I'll go live with what I found.
Okay, this is actually like this is pretty fucking cracked. You have 5 days, dude. I'm putting together a segment for Tuesday. Reply before then. I'm going live with what I found. Alec. Alec, no. That's not how you do it, bud. That's rough. That's no good. I've like this is a dark thought I have every once in a while, you know, of like it's a desire to pressure people to do stuff, you know. You got to resist it. It's bad. Doesn't matter who they are. If somebody doesn't want to talk to you, you can't try to force them to talk to you. Because that's weird. It is weird, with the notable exception of if you are like in the course of your job, like able to do that. So, you know, if you're a fucking journalist or something and you're trying to like make a public figure, like an elected politician speak to you, or even just a member of the public, that kind of thing. If you're a cop and you're like, hey, you have to fucking tell me what you're doing with all of this candy in the back of this van, like you're going to have to answer those questions. But like for in the entertainment world, for sort of putting pressure on people, this is no good. This is no good. First off, you're going to get bad results. Lore Lodge literally did this to me. The same thing. I'm putting together a segment and like it's going to come out this time. You should talk to me. And I'm like, all right, let's fucking have a conversation because I'm that guy. But you're going to spoil the possibility of it not being a full-on freak out if you engage this way. So just don't do it. It's not just because like it's bad, because it is also, it's unethical to try to force people to talk to you by basically saying, by engaging in something that's approximate to blackmail. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily blackmail, but it feels like you're leveraging your channel size or secret or unreleased information to try to get them. You can do this sort of in like journalism and shit by basically saying, the polite way to do this is, hey man, I have a story. I would like your comment on it in this amount of time. I am going out with a story at this period. I would never do this to a private citizen, by the way. It is absolutely not doable to private citizens. But for like politicians specifically, you can send people like, hey, I really want your comment on this. The polite thing to do on top of that is to not try to force them into a conversation, but to include, hey, these are the questions I want answered. this is the nature of the story that I'm doing. Here's all the information that would be relevant to you so that you don't feel ambushed. That's how to do that appropriately. And you can't tell people that, like, hey, I'm on a deadline and I want your conversation before... I want your statement before the end of my deadline. However, when you're, a fucking YouTuber, the deadline's kind of infinite. It's not like, I need to get this story out because you're up for election in 3 months, or because, somebody died and the family is grieving, or there's a contract deadline on something that the city is paying for, something stupid like that, something serious like that. This is like non-shit, you know what I mean? And this is not a good look. This is a bad thing to do. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Don't do it at all. Ever. Avoid it. If I do it, I have to take a lashing for it. I don't think I have. Approximating it is okay by saying basically like if I was going to say, Keemstar is great because Keemstar is like basically almost Godwin's Law at this time. If I was like, oh, Keemstar, I know a thing about you. I know you pooped in your Ferrari, right? And I'm going to release a story about you pooping in your Ferrari and all the people that saw you poop in your Ferrari. I'm going to put it out in 4 days. I want to know more about you pooping in your Ferrari, and if it really happened, and if you wouldn't mind answering some questions about it, these are the questions I have. Would you afford me the opportunity of having this conversation person to person for the medium of video? I think people would like to hear in your own words whether or not you pooped in your Ferrari. Mind you, I do have evidence that you pooped in your Ferrari. And then you can kind of like proceed from there to try to articulate the deadline. But you shouldn't say you have 5 days, dude. Reply before then, or I'll be going live with what I found. Is like that's very ultimatum-y. That's dark. Alec, that was very dark.
Don't care, ignored, straight to spam folder. Then, as I
left on red,
Gunter presumably got his Discord or his Twitter fans to spam up my email for a while. Pretty low effort stuff so far, I know, but don't worry, we're just getting started. Come the day of his big exposed video.
Alec, don't blackmail the Joker.
Gunter starts by showing his fans that I occasionally write for a newspaper here in Australia.
Now, John David Card is a published author. Can you believe that? He is a journalist as well as a published author. So this is his profile in independent Australia. John Card. John David Card is a writer, historian, and anarchist activist.
Which is pretty weird of him to do. I've never linked to it or mentioned the fact I've written for it here on YouTube, so I gotta figure he decided to go looking for anything with my name on it. Now, considering that it's a regional paper and I've done articles about location-specific issues, I think he was going for a veiled doxing threat here. It would make sense, since he doesn't even engage with anything I've written over there. He just makes a point to let people know where I work for the sake of letting them know. Next, Gunter pulls up a video of mine where I talk very proudly about gender fluidity and non-binary identities, and he accuses me of advocating that people claim to be trans to sneak into bathrooms.
Like that, he is willing and able to take on any identification he wants in the moment if it seems advantageous at that time. Is he allowed to do that? Sure, I guess.
This is, dude, darkest. Do you guys see what's on screen? Do you know how you know? You actually know Gunter fucked up? Do you know how you know Alec fucked up? What's the clue? What's the clue? It's on screen right now. It's not exact. You don't even need to hear anything. Thank you, KRS360, for subbing for 4 months. Thank you. It's dark. Slow chat with tipster showing up is not good. It's not good. It's bad. It's bad. The angel of death was there. I think this video is the one I actually reacted to at some point. This is Gunter's fucking GG site. I guess this is a live recording of the GG. I don't know. They have like a replay or something. I don't know. I saw it instantaneously. Big Daddy tipster, no.
But why would you admit to that? Why would you?
But I think this is the one I saw. Yeah, because he's dressed like Bernie. Or
you go around saying to people, yeah, I pretend to be trans or non-binary when it suits my needs. And what he just said right there is that if he wants to go peek in a woman's restroom, all he has to do is say, I am transgender, I'm a trans femme. Why would you say that? Optics man.
Now, of course, I didn't say that. In fact, I never mentioned bathrooms at all in that video, and when Gunter says that people, such as me, claim to be trans to get into bathrooms, he's literally just rehashing a Fox News talking point here. And I'll also point out, he's saying all this the same week that a trans non-binary teenager was literally murdered in a bathroom because of that sort of rhetoric. So hey, he's keeping it classy. Then Gunter spends a frankly bizarre amount of time reading excerpts, to the best of his ability, from a draft of a novella I wrote he got from my website. He spends about half an hour
I remember this novel
the
too.
Occasional spelling mistake in this rough draft story is what exactly? Supposed to be proof of something? Take a look.
Let's keep going. He waited for her to continue. Once he realized she wasn't going to talk, he tried to interest her in some food. No period, by the way. Another grammar issue. She realized he wouldn't stop the car. Oh, wait. No, wrong one. That's for later. She could have almost been there by now, admittedly, had it not been for the conniving driver who she had left the truck stop restroom just in time to see driving off. Conniving driver. No, actually, that's fine. I don't know why I pulled that one up. Because I'm a big John David Card fan, okay? Don't become the cringe. Fuck you. I'll be cringe all I want. I've earned this shit. You know how much shit that I've had to pour through for this?
Just as a reminder, as we're talking about typos here, Gunter's video was called Cardposting's Crimes. Crimes. But then, this is where he pivots into another accusation related to the book. Because he tries to make out...
He's sped up, so he looks even more erratic than normal, but Cardposting does have a certain disposition to him. And I think he's legitimately pissed at fucking Gunter, dude. I think he's fucking furious with
this story has pedophilic, sexually charged undertones because one of the characters in it is a teenage girl. Something which he continued to claim even as he tried to take his accusations of me to random debate lord streamers. He got into a spiraling...
Yeah, Triptych, the little girl with the gun was mature for her age. Weird ass story. It was. Yeah, I remember that now. I do remember the story being weird. Sorry, Card. It's just weird. Also, though, I guess I don't know how I can't remember how they found it. You did have to dig. You know what I mean? It's not something that necessarily like Card was like, this is how I want myself represented. 5,000%. Like, this is my channel. This is my disposition. A little, not necessarily something he was bringing up, unless he was talking about friend posting in there too. Then of course he's on the fucking hook for it. So it's a bit of a 50-50. Is Card a little weird? Is the story a little weird? Yes. Did you have to find the weird? Also true.
Calling conversations with.
The one part that I pulled was because it was supposed to be whom, not who. And then the next part that I pulled, that didn't seem to quite make sense, was because he was using present tense rather than past tense. He switched tenses, and I forgot to mention that part. I was too eager to get to, like,
fair. Shit. The big bits, the weird bits in the book.
Right.
Yeah, I think I remember when he was talking about this. That's very common. That's just, honestly, like, Card clearly didn't edit. Happens to the best of us. Don't worry. Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. This is like a writing, Tyler, art and creation type thing. I do it. Everybody does it. Sometimes you have parts of the book that are in your brain and you're like very immediate and you accidentally write them in present tense. I have done this a number of times because I was just so excited about writing down what was in my head that I wasn't paying enough attention and I fucked the tense up for an entire section. What you do is you just go back and fix it. But it happens. It'll happen to you. It happens to everybody. It's just an issue when it comes to being very, very excited about the immediate part of a book. It's more of a call out on editing than it's like an indicator that he's not good at writing. You know what I mean? Like I don't think like typos and stuff are very good indicators of whether or not somebody's good at writing because I make typos all the time. Everybody does. If you're actually a good writer, more than likely you'll make more typos than other people. Because you know enough about writing to know that you should finish it before you edit, and then you can just go back and fix everything, which is kind of the point. Typos were worse. Sorry to continue. Typos were worse when you typed. That's the reason why typos were irritating back in the day, and people told you to like do everything you can to avoid typos, was because you were like writing with like quills once upon a time, and you only had the one shot to do things right, or you're on a typewriter and it was like ink and paper. Nowadays you can delete and edit stuff very easily, so it's not that big of a deal.
What were you trying to say with the snippets from the book? Because I don't think you were explicit.
It's just weird. I feel like
Weird in what way?
It's weird optically. Like he keeps harping on and on about how mature this 12-year-old is as she points a gun at adults who keep bringing up the CPS. And oh my God, the CPS is going to get me in trouble if this 12-year-old girl. And they're like, I don't know. It just seemed charged. It
Like
seemed very charged.
Charged how?
I don't know how else to explain it. It seemed sexually charged.
Sexually charged.
The
And that's
language he was
Battlefield.
using, yes, it seemed charged.
Just-
And
That's completely bunk. There's absolutely nothing like that in the story. And in fact, there is unambiguously zero sexual content or anything even approaching it whatsoever in that story. I stand by that assertion 100%. And in fact, within a few hours of this video you're currently watching being uploaded and made public, I plan on also uploading a reading of that entire story to YouTube too, if you really want to investigate Gunter's claim for yourself. Then, Gunter next goes on to claim, without any evidence,
Profoundly
again, falsely,
based.
that I browse Kiwi Farms, the reactionary drama/doxing forum. That's not true at all. I don't browse it, don't post there, and Gunter saying that I do is a lie. Simple as that. I think Kiwi Farms is bad, and I also won't miss an opportunity to point out that as Alec Gunter is telling this lie about me, karma bites him squarely in the ass, and we get this glorious Freudian slip on his live stream.
not a super progressive place. I literally got linked to a Kiwi Farms thing as a result of like all of this stuff going on. So I logged in, not logged in. I don't have an account or nothing, but I opened the page for the first time today.
But Alec Gunter ends his video about me by making up one really big final claim.
I'm going to pause again here. I think that that entire conversation is extra stupid now, especially on the other side of the whole fucking DM reporting thing. Here's why I think people should stop the whole, hey, you're on Kiwi Farms, you're on 4chan, you're a bad person thing. First off, if we just, in our minds, think of who are the most notable people that have said, don't go on Kiwi Farms, don't go on 4chan, they're full of misinformation and stuff about like this and that and the other, or it's like literally just like, if you do that, you're bad for trans people. Think about who is saying that. Keffels, Demon Mama, people in their immediate orbit. And I think we found out later that Keffels even had a fucking like an editing account on there. I can't remember if that's true or not, but ultimately, like, it's a website, man. It's a website on the internet. And I don't think that using it makes you lose your mind immediately. Now, if you're like a prolific A-logger on Kiwi Farms, then your specific, like, connected to you account should probably be used when it comes to judging how fucking, like, absolutely cracked you are. Like, if you're just trying to fucking A-log some random fucking, 400 sub live streamer who is cringe as shit, yeah, okay, judge that person. But, like, you cannot have something that is as fucking taboo as Kiwi Farms in these areas. Oh, God. And not be interested in as shit in it. Don't go in there, my friend. It's full of the darkest secrets you've ever heard. Don't go anywhere near the Kiwi Farms, my friend. That's the bad part of town, where all the dangerous people like to hang out. Oh, you want to know secrets about people? Well, you're something of an untrustworthy sort, aren't you? You're just like those Kiwi farmers that hang out on Kiwi Farms, the darkest, coolest place you've ever heard of. Like, what the fuck? Oh, you hang out on 4chan? Are you keep the secret knowledge, I say. What the fuck? And so you have all these people who are like, yeah, man, don't go on those websites. Don't go on those. If you use that website, have you ever touched that website? You're a fight. Like, you're literally like, the second you fucking perceive this, the fucking landing page, just electric shoots out of your fucking monitor. It just turns you transphobic. Like, you're just like J.K. Rowling's fucking ghost, just like, men shouldn't compete in women's sports. Men shouldn't compete in women's sports. Oh, nightmare. Men shouldn't compete in women's sports. Robert Galbraith was a good pseudonym. It wasn't weird at all. You just like, what? You get fucking blasted. I think it speaks a lot to how kind of brainwashable a lot of people on the left are, that they are like projecting this like, oh shit, you fucking looked at it. Because you see when people talk about it, like, I can't even fucking say I looked at it. I can't even say I fucking looked at it. I'm gonna go to hell. You know, just like fucking, what the hell is going on there? You know what I mean? It's like cringe Googling yourself at times. Fucking first time I popped over there was because Warkakai in a long time. I checked it for curiosity for a bit. The first time I tried to look up anything, it was fucking Workakai. And I think I spelled his name wrong because there's just no results. Maybe like one or two or something, but nothing interesting. It's a fucking website, man. Like, unironically, if you can't interact with things that are bad for your side, you'll never be able to defend against them. Now, if you're like a prolific fucking A-logger, and if you're a person that is like putting together docs on people, then yeah, you're probably a bad person. But like people on the left, ostensibly, people who are anti-Kiwi farms are doing all of this, putting together docs and shit. I mean, if you want to talk about like, oh yeah, Kiwi farms is bad, the blacklisted streamer from my community fucking recorded one of my mods' wife and kids without telling them, because he just literally just started doing one-party consent recordings of my mods to try to get dirt on me because he's a fucking psycho. Like, what is the difference at that point? Like literally, oh shit, this person looked at Kiwi farms? That's definitely way worse than the guy that secretly recorded a guy's wife and kid because he was secretly recording the guy to try to get like fucking dirt on the person whose community that guy was in. And the only reason the dude's talking to you is because I fucking introduced him in the first place. You know what I mean? Weird as shit. So like, why are these things being drawn? Like Keffels and all that. Oh, don't use Kiwi farms. Kiwi farms people, you look at it once, you're the devil. And then like you see them and they're putting together blackmail folders and they have whole A-logging servers and they do whisper campaigns. So I just find the whole like pussyfooting and tiptoeing around looking at website shit to be fucking asinine. Now, if you're just like, where did you get that information that's false? Did you look at Kiwi farms because they say that lie about me all the time? Okay, pop off, queen. Sure. You know what I mean? But like this idea that there's like sides now was created by a person who had to be drummed out of these spaces for abusing people in these spaces. Like everybody's hyper alert, hyper negative views of Kiwi farms and just even touching it, even going near it, is from Keffels and like her immediate community. I don't think that you should probably use it. I don't think that you should get on those sites. I don't think you should get on 4chan in general, because 4chan is like 80% cognito hazards if you don't know how to navigate it. I'll tell people again and again and again and again, never, ever, ever go to 4chan's LGBT board. You will like develop suicidal thoughts literally from looking at that page for more than 5 fucking seconds. It's a cognito hazard. If you are like a person that can get like mentally damaged by cringe, if you're fucking under the age of 18, absolutely don't go to any of those sites. And don't make a habit of staying on them for long periods of times, because they might make you literally lose your fucking mind, because it's generally unhealthy to stay there too long. But if you're fucking morbidly curious, or if that's where a piece of information that no one else had is, it is what it is, man. Like, would it be really that much different if it was other fucking sensitive or like secreted information, but it was on like a Tumblr page that's like Marxism first? You know what I mean? It's the unethicality of the content and the unethicality of the people sharing it that should be more important than the fucking banner that's over it, because otherwise we start justifying people doing literal A-logging, literal fucking lolcow manufacturing, literal abuse, making literal blackmail folders on people, but it's okay because they're fucking ostensibly left. You know, they were on Vosh one time and they're like, dude, people should read Marx. And you're like, oh, fuck. Well, this motherfucker's spitting if I ever heard it before. Was Warsakakia of age? Yeah, Workakai confirmed that he was 19, I believe. Which was fine. Before I was like even continued, I was like, okay, actually I got to double quadruple check. You can't be in this fucking server if you're under 18. I was pretty sure he was. I never even considered the possibility that somebody would be like talking, because he sounds like he's been through puberty for a minute, at least a little bit. But I confirmed that Workakai, they said at least that they were fucking 19 years old and had a job and shit. So I was like, all right, fucking whatever. Information gathering can be a messy business, but you have to understand what's important and what isn't. You don't need everything you learn about a person. Oh, no.
He spins a fairy tale, entirely transparently bogus.
Yeah, blacklisted streamer would never burn a source.
An unnamed, anonymous source, right as he started getting his feelings hurt in this online exchange, who, just out of the blue, told him that me, the person he's got a problem with, is actually not a progressive, but I do YouTube because I secretly want to start a transgender sex cult. That's his final claim in this video, that I want to groom people into a trans sex cult, which he makes sure to end his stream emphasizing and telling his audience that I should be pogromed off the internet, driven offline entirely, while still being visibly mad about the fact he got some banter back in our first exchange. Take a look.
So what does this all boil down to, folks? Well, I have a theory, and I think it's a very good one. I think that John David Card is a groomer. I think that he is attempting to start his own cult of supporters, largely trans supporters, right? I think that he wants to build up an audience of trans people that he can then manipulate, take advantage of, and perhaps even in a sexual way. And so that's why I feel this is not personal. It is a little personal, but the main point of this is not personal. I do not want shitheads like this infiltrating our good leftist space. No. Cast you out into the cold, my friend. None of that here. You're a piece of shit. I hate you. And you shouldn't have called me a fucking slackjaw, dumbass.
I hope I didn't agree with that last time I heard it. Man, that's a rough accusation.
And that's that.
Is Card trans, NB, or anything? I don't know. It's none of my business. I don't think they've ever identified as it. I believe that they're okay with he, him pronouns because everyone's referred to them as such. Him.
Hopefully, suffice to say,
Card is
I do not in
gender
fact want to
fluid.
start any trans sex cults. Furthermore, no random anonymous people you find in the comments section of an Alec Gunter video is anyone who knows me, because I keep my real-world organizing private because it doesn't need to be public. And as an aside, political organizing and making videos online are two entirely separate things, and anyone making content out of the organizing they supposedly do is actually just someone...
Cardposting did not select their gender preference pronouns in the Discord.
...angling for an online media career. But back to the topic, Alec Gunter made up a story to support his claim I want to groom people. He lied very brazenly.
Card's
and
okay with
claimed he had a
NEL?
bunch of
Okay,
super
cool.
damning evidence dumped into his lap supporting that story. He just can't actually let you see it, but trust him guys, he totally has it. This random Australian hobbyist video maker he's never met, filming on their phone to maybe a few hundred people a video, is actually super bad, and Gunter's not just saying that because he got his ego very badly bruised. That's his claim of me, the fantasy he's come up with. Now, my counterclaim of him, so to speak, the problem I've got with him that I want to get to today, is just what you see in his videos and how Alec Gunter acts towards people. He does things that, frankly, should not be encouraged or even welcomed in progressive spaces. Beyond the juvenile stuff, like all the pleading emails he kept sending me, or the fact he tried to get his fans to send me a bunch of spam messages, or even how he tried to do a real low-rent doxing by showing people where I live through what paper I write for. I mean, like the simple fact, Alec Gunter started, then lost, YouTube beef with a progressive creator just a fraction of his size, then he made up a fake rape cult story to save face. And he's all around just a pretty terrible person, as you see once you start to keep track of what he's done. He tried to attack me by calling my gender identity fake and rolling out the conservative classic bathroom libel, again, the same week the big headline news was that a non-binary person had just been murdered over this shit. Did he not say that non-binary people, or at the very least I, are faking it to peek into public restrooms? That's just transphobia. And by the way, just in case you think he was merely just trying to articulate an argument that's still pro-trans identities, just anti-too cute and more binary and medicalist, but he's just clumsy about it, well, no, in fact. Here's him attacking another trans person who takes a very medicalist binary true-sum line on trans issues. Take a look.
Girl, you gotta be kidding me. I speak from
What do
personal...
you mean you gotta be... Don't be a cuck. Don't be a cuck. Shut up.
Because
as a cuck. No, you're not a man. Shut the fuck up. You don't get to put yourself in the same category as me. Get out.
cannot change
I
the
cast
truth.
you out. All right? I don't accept men who are cucks. If you're like a...
Someone says, don't just announce Vosh divest as the title. I think he gets to that in the last, little bit. Mostly this is about Alec Gunter, but it is framed around a fucking attack on the Vosh general orbiter sphere. He does get to it.
Literal
I pre-watched
cuck.
this a bit, but I didn't pay that much attention to it.
fetish, that's fine. I'm not getting on...
Looks to me like Gunter's just a bellowing cis guy who likes to talk over actual trans people, and will just be transphobic for the sake of making woke skull dunking content, nay. Reminder, his whole shtick is being a former Trump supporter who got all libbed up and became a Democrat fanboy instead. And he's not a stick in the mud like those wokies who think voting blue isn't enough. Why do we need to hear what he thinks about anything, let alone trans...
Is there proof that I've heard Alec say he's a former conservative, but I kind of like every fucking dumbass guy goes through like a brief conservative phase to some degree, particularly if you're at my age. I think Alec is like my age. I don't know. Maybe he is in his 20s or something. I thought he was like 30 something. But was he actually a Trump supporter is crazy, because that's like, that one's hard to get over. Being a Trump supporter is kind of, that's a bit of a sea change. I'd have to know exactly what was the impetus there. That's kind of wild. That's a little nuts.
Trans issues. Oh hey, remember the part where he called me a pedophile because the book I wrote had a teen girl in it? And he said he wants to make sure I'm nowhere near the online left because I'm bad optics? Well, hilariously, he actually recorded that stream the morning of the same day Vaush later leaked the fact he had a bunch of, bestiality lolicon. The cartoon child porn of little girls being sodomized by horses. That stuff, which he had on his computer, because he consumes that sort of content, because he likes it, because he's a pedophile. Anyway, it's just really interesting that Alec Gunter thinks it's really important we do our utmost to point that out, and remove all the pedophiles from the online left. And we know for a fact that Alec Gunter heard about the fact Vaush got exposed for leaking all his cartoon bestiality child porn, because he was actually in Vaush's subsequent livestream, advising Vaush that actually this mistake could be parlayed into an opportunity for him to get exposed to new viewers by accepting Ethan Klein's invitation to talk about what happened.
You think you can call in and talk it over with them? Maybe this is your ticket in? Nah.
Then guess what? After it came to light that Vaush had a bunch of cartoon bestiality child porn on his computer, in the interests of pointing out and ousting the pedophiles from the online left, Gunter actually didn't just ignore what Vaush did, he explicitly banned mention of it in his community. As another aside, I don't think any YouTuber should run a Discord for their fans like that. It's a space controlled solely by a figure everyone there will look up to. There's zero means to properly verify that people...
I gotta say this too. Before the folder, I was actually talking about the Vosh CP shit previous to that. Ow, dude, I got something on my fucking face. Previous to the folder, and actually talking about Keffels too, and arguing about Keffels were both things that I prematurely banned, largely because the fucking conversation is disgusting. It's gross. I think it's usually sufficient to say Vosh bad. Those arguments are gross, and you don't need to fucking get into it. I think personally, I was probably maybe a little bit wrong on that. I've had to mea culpa a little bit. It's okay to make mistakes as long as you fucking see them and change. You know what I mean? My idea at the beginning was really the thought that other better conversations were getting derailed because if you brushed near Vosh, people would try to or if you made a point that he made, people would try to derail the conversation by saying shit like, oh, Vosh did this, Vosh a pedophile, that kind of shit, blah, blah, blah. Thinking specifically about Ben Empanada, who a conversation with him was actually why I was just like, okay, this shit can't go on. And it was the same with Keffels, because Keffels is boring. I don't feel like having that conversation, especially when you're microscopic like I was, under 500 subs is when I came up with that rule. People would try to change the entire course of your channel by hey, can you talk about this one thing specifically again and again and again and again? I'm like, no. And when the Vosh folder dropped, my original thing was I don't care particularly as much that it's this nasty shit in the folder, because that's not the problem I can deal with, basically. Whatever his predilections are his own, he's just highly, highly, highly unprofessional with this shit. Because I think in my mind, I was just because it can't be real. You know what I mean? And I was giving him a lot of grace. And I think in retrospect, once I started really reviewing him too, here's the issue with, I think that a lot of people have with Vosh and why the VDS meme even came about. And I think it's something that he gets into it too, is that Vosh does occupy an especially privileged position when it comes to criticism, in that any criticism that mentions a thing he did wrong gets disregarded for being unfair. And I think it creates a psychological impetus in people that talk about him to be excessively good faith. You know what I mean? You can't mention any of Vosh's shortcomings or short failings, because if you do, then they can disregard the entire criticism outright. So my focus was, he's a fucking idiot. That shit's mad gross. But like the biggest issue is obviously that he's completely unprofessional and has all these fuck ups. You know, like why are you streaming without a delay on? Why would you have your actual desktop for your goon computer like on your PC? Like why don't you have it just as like a sectioned off window or something? Like blah 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 blah. Obviously those were fuck ups. As I reviewed it going forward and thought about it more and more, it fucking weirded me out more and more and more. And like, I kind of had to come to terms with the fact that it's not a one-off. And I think that's probably where a lot of people were. So I demand to be treated with grace on this. But I think that's where a lot of people were, because some people were already like right about Vosh. Okay, congratulations, you got there first. Catching up, I think it is like a moment where it just pulls the veil back, and then you go like, what the fuck? That's why I was reacting the way I was a few weeks ago when I was just like, actually, the more I look at this, the more crazy it is. Like I felt betrayed, I guess, in a way. You know what I mean? Maybe by my own sense of self, that I kind of like, I probably should have hit it even harder. You know what I mean? That's a mea culpa. My bad. You know what I mean? But also, if you guys aren't on the streaming side, if all you have to do is chat, you know what I mean? And you don't have to pick up the flack after it. Because, you know, worst comes to worst is I maybe notice your criticism of me and get butthurt. Vosh's people will actively try to go fuck your shit up. And his community is fucking integrated in tons of other people's communities. So the issues that I'm going through right now with the sub drops and shit are literally directly connected to talking shit and basically speaking any modicum of truth to Vosh's immediate orbiter circle. If you want to frame it as like an act of cowardice, or I wasn't like completely on it at the time, fair. You know what? It is what it is. But like, you got to grow as a person. And like, honestly, it's one of those things where you step back and you're like, God damn it. It was just red flags all the way down. It was just literally what it was. But maybe it just seemed so fucking extraordinary that you bamboozle yourself into being like, well, okay, it certainly couldn't be the worst possible thing, could it? Could we entertain anything else? And I think we do have a toxic predilection towards this, like, you have to be absolutely good faith to these big streamers, or, oh, dude, if you criticize a big streamer, it's not because they did something wrong. It's because you're clout hungry. Oh, it's not because he did something wrong. It's because you got VDS. It's not because he did something wrong. It's because you're trying to delay the movement. Oh, it's not because they did something wrong. It's because you're just trying to do leftist infighting. And like, then like you get pests on the other side. It's like a fucking breath of relief. Like, yeah, okay, I probably should have hit it harder. Could have hit it harder the whole time, but I didn't know if I was a slow clock or a broke clock. Really is the case. And yeah, looking back on it, hindsight 2020, what the fuck? When you have all of the information after the fact and you see that there was no other path forward, and you're like, yeah, like, dude, I fucked up that call. I still wasn't like, oh shit, we should forgive him for this. I was like, I think the left needs to permanently divest from Vosh, mostly because he's an unprofessional idiot. Okay, now I will also add maybe a nonce. Who knows? Don't care. Don't want to talk about that shit either. Like, discussion of sharing of information, that's all banned from my Discord too. Like, I will not let you share any of the contents of the taxes folder on my Discord because it's gross. And I don't want to talk about this shit because it's gross. And that really is the biggest issue with Vosh, is that his size precludes his absolute elimination from these spaces after he's already fucked up the convo going on 6 months, because now you even have to look back and be like, God damn it. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
People coming in are actually of age. It's not visible to outsiders at all, so there's no oversight or accountability. I just denounce the idea of YouTubers having Discords like that, period. I just don't like them. It doesn't sit right with me. And more specifically,
Tyler, I like that video because it wasn't a straight attack on him, so it made me take a step back from the drama of it and start looking at him beyond all that nonsense. Yeah, that's the other thing too. Like, it's... The dude positioned himself perfectly to never have to be criticized about obvious shortcomings, which is why, like, a lot of my criticism of Vosh still doesn't, like, necessarily go to the taxes folder. Now that I'm on the other side of me ripping up a bunch of his opinions, I'm fine sitting on that because honestly, at this point, who gives a shit? It's never going to go away, and it's basically part of his fucking name. You know what I mean? Like, at this point. But goddamn, it's a rough setup. And I think more to the point, you should avoid that. I think that's why I'm like, people can always criticize me, and it's fine to criticize me. People have complained about this because they're like, you said anyone could criticize you, and then I criticized you and you made fun of me. Yes, dipshit. You criticize me, though. That's fine. You can criticize me. It doesn't mean I'm going to agree with you or I'm going to fucking change. Like, oh, Tyler, I think that you should do something slightly different. Like, no, dumb fuck. I'm not doing that. But you can criticize me. I welcome criticism, i.e., you can say anything you want about me. There are no repercussions for that in my community. Also, my community is not allowed to defend me. So if your criticisms go out there, they come to me. And people don't have to start getting themselves worked up in their minds and then exhaust themselves and then start reverting basically to like, I don't want to have this conversation for the 5,000th time because I feel obligated to. I'm just going to say it's fucking Tyler derangement syndrome and move on. You don't have to do that because you don't have to defend me at all. There is no defending me. It's just go on with your life. Go to the slug mines and draw a slug. That's pretty much it. That's the difference, really. And Vosh has positioned himself very well and never having to be criticized. It's fucking nuts.
Looking again at this screenshot of Alec Gunter telling everyone to ignore the fact that Vouch likes cartoon bestiality child porn, is he shirtless in his pic there? That means either topless pics are normal fodder in the Gunter Discord community, and everyone does that, which isn't a crime of course, but it's definitely also something that doesn't sit right with me. Or, topless pics like that aren't normal in the Gunter Discord community, and he's the only one who does that. In which case, I'd say maybe his accusation I want to head an online trans sex cult was more just projection than anything else. Anyway, isn't it really weird how Alec Gunter is willing to lie and call someone he doesn't like a pedophile, then all of a sudden, someone he does like, someone who he can continue to suck up to, someone he's got an incentive to stay on the good side of, is exposed as being a pedophile? I think the double standards is bad myself, but speaking of double standards and trans Discord cults, y'all remember Keffels? Again, hilariously, the thing Alec Gunter made up to accuse me of happens to someone he likes, and he's shockingly silent about things. See, right after this exchange between me and Gunter, where he accuses me of wanting to groom people into an online trans cult, the Keffels thing comes back into focus and becomes the drama flavor of the month. Now personally, I'm already on record as saying I don't really think any amount of online criticism is even going to affect her, and I stand by that. But let's be clear here, what Keffels did is definitely still really bad. I'm obviously not...
I disagree because she is now basically gone from the internet. She's probably going to return again, maybe like after giving it another 6 months or so. But Keffel's career is pretty much nixed. And it's really not, I think also I do agree with him. It's probably not necessarily the criticism. I think just really what he wants from this video actually did happen to Keffels. I think people made it impossible for Keffels to have friends in a space like this, and Keffels is not entertaining on her own. She's got like a flattened affect, and she's not particularly intelligent or knowledgeable of stuff or funny. So like, if you're not just comfy in Keffels, which you need a community, you need to be comfy posting, then you're not going to go over there. And she burned her own community around her, all of the other creators and stuff, by engaging in shit. But also those creators couldn't ignore it anymore and put bygones aside for Keffelbucks because there was like increased scrutiny. So not 100%, but also like sort of correct.
Not anti-HRT, but having a private Discord filled with people you
she
can't
returned not too long ago.
Of,
she left for
where
a
you
week.
covertly distribute hormones of dubious origin and purity, and then essentially play a confidence trick, banking on people's sympathy to pocket $100,000 you lie about your need for, then squander, and in doing so tarnish the standing of every reputable HRT distributor and every trans person looking for necessary financial assistance, is bad. That's a bad thing to do, and Keffels did it. And guess what? Not a peep of condemnation out of Gunter. Really weird how his outrage is very selective, and only seems to come out against much smaller channels he doesn't like. And every once in a while, I still get stuff floated into my recommended tab, where Gunter will have done something like incorrectly assume another content creator has a smaller subscribership than him, then he'll muse about how he thinks the smaller creator looks 14 or something, before going off on a mumbling monologue about how the person he thinks is some random minor looks like he'd be really into gay sex and having Alec dress him up as a woman.
He's smaller than I am even, and that's saying something. How old is... honestly, I'm a little scared. How old is this guy? He looks underage. There's his Twitter. He looks like...
I might fucking lose my channel. I'm gonna get like fucking third-party radiation from all these fucking tipster drops.
He's like 14. I'm honestly scared to insult him any further.
Mama Max,
but he's
I
in an
know
adult
exactly
space, so I'm gonna treat him like an adult. Like, what are you like? You
don't
dudes
say that.
in
Don't say
private
that.
when no, like
No, don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that.
And you don't tell anybody about it. Okay, that hairstyle already says everything I need to know, my dude. Okay, you take it up the ass like when nobody's looking, and you deny it at every point when nobody even brought it up. You're like, what do you mean in the ass? And they're like, I asked you what you wanted for dinner. Okay, well, just so it's clear, I did not get in the ass. Like that's the look that you're giving off. If this guy who already looks like he would fit makeup very well, makeup and a dress, I'm serious. Like he would look good with makeup and a dress. Not kidding. Maybe you should try it. You know?
Yeah, that's...
Okay, I directly blame Vosh for that. Okay, here's an issue. This is an issue that came up. I saw myself doing similar terrible comedy bits like that at the beginning of my stream, right? And they're bad. That's bad comedy to be doing. It's gross and it's stupid. And I was thinking about it. I think if you have been watching me long enough, you've probably saw the moment where I went, why the fuck am I saying that? And I like literally shook myself awake because I was sort of coming up with some shit about like fucking somebody's mom, or I was talking too much about fucking. And that was one of my other like, I realized like Vosh was poison type things, because before I started streaming, I had stopped watching Vosh that much. I'd stopped watching him that much. Probably for about half a year or more before that. Basically, at the end of the Vosh drama cycles, you remember like the DJ Mule, Samson, all those drama cycles? I had stopped watching Vosh kind of immediately after the Fortress arc and shit. I don't even know how much time that is because his content just got stale. But I remember him making all of those sex jokes and stuff. And that started being like, and nobody's immune from fucking like monkey see, monkey do type shit. And when I started this stream off, I remember thinking jokes like that were like, okay, because I heard them and they weren't punished. Basically, like that's literally in my mind. And I didn't think it through because I'm old internet as well. So if you want to make a joke about like, this twink fuck, like, I'll fucking body this guy. And now I'm like looking back, I'm like, why in the fuck would I have said anything like that? And then I'm like, what is the I don't make those jokes in real life. Like, why is it coming to me on the internet? Like, that's so strange. And then I thought about it and I'm like, this is the fucking Vosh talking about twinks and his dick all the goddamn time. Like, did this motherfucker brain poison me? Did I listen to him too much? And now I'm thinking about telling all these fucking like hyper masculine jokes about like fucking like I'm gonna body somebody, I'm gonna force feminize someone, I'm gonna do fetish shit. Like, I hope I didn't even make that many. If I did, make fun of me. It's okay. If I fucked up, I fucked up. But like, I thought about it and I went, what in the fuck am I doing? Like, first off, I'm funnier than that. Rape is a joke. It's bad. Sex assault and even just making like hypersexual jokes about people is bad, right? It can be funny. A joke is a joke if it's fucking funny, right? But I think that's hack premises. Even if you get a laugh, it's worth half the laughs you get anywhere else. So if you fucking tell one of those jokes and it doesn't fucking click, you got to take a hard hit. That's deep cringe. It's deep cringe. The more intense the subject matter, the more intense the cringe if you don't get your fucking laughs. I think Gunter here, he didn't really say it in a way where you could even kind of say like, oh, it's clearly like a joke. It sounded more like bullying, where there's no punchline. The joke is the assessment of the situation. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I think I could dress you up in a dress and fuck you. There's not like fun language and shit attached to it. It's just like, oh, this guy's a twink. He's a fucking like a little fucking bitch. I'd fuck him. I get it. And those jokes are what they are there, but you can't do it. And I swear to fucking God in heaven, I think they all come from the fucking Vosh sphere. It's something I'd noticed before, and then Cardposting made this video. This is one of the main reasons I also wanted to watch this on stream. I was half in, half out of it. Like I was saying, I was playing Helldivers. I was listening to fucking Chud Logic stream, so he's talking too. I'm like fucking half checked out. I heard this part, and I went like body cringe. I went, fuck. I was making bad jokes like that. I was fucking doing that same cringe shit. And I think it's directly because of Vosh's influence on the sphere. It's not his fault that I made bad jokes. That's only on me. Only on me. It doesn't matter how bad the joke was. I'm the one that decided to tell it. But I think permitting that kind of shit in the sphere, especially for lefties, making like sexual domination of people a joke, like a punchline, you know what I mean, is not what you should be doing. You got to move away from it. If you've done it, I think everything's basically, with a few notable exceptions, forgivable, especially if you like admit to it and say like, I'm not going to do it anymore. I think that you can change, and I think it's incumbent on people to change. I think that Alec, don't make jokes like that anymore. It didn't slap anyway. It wasn't funny. You know what I mean? It's a little cringe and taken completely out of context, or whatever you want to say about it. It's just brutal. It just comes off rough because of what it is. If you stand by the joke, you stand by the joke. Yeah, I can't take it away from you. I wouldn't. I'm a little free speechy like that. But I gotta say, I started noticing that. It's one of the reasons I harp on all of the like Vosh talking about his dick too much. Because I was like, why the fuck am I thinking like that? Like, damn, I got the biggest fucking dick in here. Big dick, twinks, big dicks and twinks. And like, I was saying shit like, what in the fuck is wrong with me? And that's why I've moved away from like any types of jokes like that as far as I can get. Sex jokes are fine, but it's like that whole like subgenre of comedy that kind of comes from that sphere that I think is very cringe. And I think it can actually brain poison people, because when the delivery is wrong and you're kind of just reading it out and it's not funny, it kind of just does sound like you want to dress up some maybe cis guy in a dress and fuck him, which is not a crime, but it's not necessarily something you should say to a coworker, so to say, on the internet, especially if you can't get the laugh out of it. I think it's just way too much of a risk of a joke for the person's feeling of safety and for everyone else's feeling of not wanting to experience cringe in the moment. That's my statement. I did want to say that card posting's got me fucking dead to rights a few times in this video. It's all L's. Tyler L's posted. Card posting, more like Tyler L posting. It's fine. You just got to get over that shit.
Definitely the sort of React stream dunking content a progressive who's really concerned about optics should do, isn't it?
Some 16-year-old.
Yeah, IGL Full Metal. Making untoward sexual jokes that involve real people doesn't sit right with me, even toward politicians and like. Yeah. I think it's a little rough. I think it's a high risk, low reward joke. You know what I mean? And it's not great. That's one of the reasons I've been sort of shying away from trying to talk about the JD Vance and drag stuff. He looks like he's having a good time, and I don't want to take that away from him, even if he is a piece of shit these days. But like, people were getting a little grimy with those jokes. You know what I mean? Like, just a little too much. And I think it's a bad look overall. If we're talking about optics, especially for the left, I think it's just a high risk, low reward tack to take. Doesn't mean that you can't get away with it. And this is not to say that anybody that did this shit needs to be fucking torch and pitchforked out. Just like, you got to stop doing it. That's the main point, is you can grow past this shit. Like, you don't have to stagnate and fucking sit in a fortress and basically become the fucking the lolcow at the center of the fucking great labyrinth because you fucking made an L statement or an L joke or acted weird. Just say I fucking acted really weird and I know that's weird and I'm fucking sorry for doing it and I'm never going to do it again and I feel gross about it. You can just do that. You can just grow as a person. I swear to fucking God, it's possible. You can literally grow as people. So one of the main reasons I blacklisted the blacklisted community is they want to hyper focus on permanently keeping people in the past, as though a mistake has to define their entire fucking existence and they can't ever grow from it. That's lolcow shit. That's bad. That's bad. It's bad. It's bad. That's why I don't fucking want to associate with that crew anymore, because I saw them doing it to other people. I didn't call it out and I should have, because I was trying to be too friendly. And it's one of my things as a leftist. I do believe in rehabilitative justice for all except for the most egregious crimes and crimes that people refuse to admit are crimes. You know what I mean? I don't think you get to rejoin society if you fucking do a Hitler If you Hitler a population, if you do genocide and stuff, I don't think you should be able to fucking hang out with everybody anymore. If you're like an ultra psycho who just like wants to stab people to see them bleed, obviously you got to get kept in a box. But like generally, especially with personal faux pas and stuff and gaffes, I don't think that it's healthy for people to live the rest of their life with a sort of Damocles hanging over their head because somebody's going to find like, you know, video of them being cringe when they were 12 and having a good mentality around like, hey man, if people find out that you did cringe, you can stop being cringe. You can say like, oh shit, that's cringe. You can laugh it off and walk away. That is so fucking important to people's mental health. And I think it's why people go fucking insane on the internet and hide shit that they don't need to hide and get into like situations where they're just continuously like, oh no, guys, please sweep for me. Don't mention this or I'm going to tell on you. We all have to create blackmail folders because nobody will just admit their fucking faults and move the fuck on like adults. If I made any jokes like that, I deserve to get a fucking kick right in the shin. One hard kick in the shin one time from one person and then just move the fuck on. You know what I mean? The issue with people like fucking that don't grow. People like Boogie, yeah, Boogie's a fucking lolcow. But Boogie's a lolcow because Boogie quadruples down on his own bad behavior and likes doing it. He enjoys being cringe. You know what I mean? But somebody else, like, who was fucking weird for a little while, if they want to, like, Workakai was cringe as shit. But, like, I don't think he should be judged for his one bad takedown video of me and showing up unprepared to get harangued. Like, I legitimately don't think that kid's a bad person. I think they just wanted attention and they went about it the wrong way. And if he fucking grows, I have all respect for him, you know? And honestly, if he gets way fucking funnier and comes and fucks me up, I'll celebrate him getting better. Like, I really want people to be better. And part of that is having the fucking grace to let people make mistakes or admit their mistakes and move the fuck on. Which is why I will blacklist communities that fucking try to like harp on details that people are actually past. Like actually legitimate. I have admitted it, said it was wrong, corrected the issue and gone past it. You don't need to constantly fucking like, people don't forget. You know what I mean? Just let it go so people can get better. Otherwise, you're really just trying to maintain them as the bad person they were. You're trying to keep them evil. You know what I mean? You're trying to keep them cringe for your own good, which is actually even more psychotic than anything else.
Look like adults. Okay.
I was smart to delete my old cringe Zanga and MySpace blogs years ago. Well, I know you're 38 too, 36 to 38-year-old. Who the fuck knows to look for a Zanga? Answer for yourself. I deleted my Zanga so nobody could find it. There was one person out there that knew that Zanga existed, and it was you, and then maybe your fucking ex from high school, who the whole Zanga was probably dedicated to, either because of a breakup or a new relationship, and more than likely both ways were.
I need to explain something, because I feel like not enough people understand this. The problem with pedophilia is not finding somebody who is underage attractive, okay? If you find somebody who happens to be underage, who's like 16 or 17, attractive, that's not a big deal. Which, you know, I admit to fighting for clout, by the way. I fully admit to that. Of course I fight for clout. I do debates.
Is this deceptively edited?
I tick some buttons, you know. I spark some outrage sometimes. You know, it happens. I do that.
It's almost as bad as that time Gunter went on Jubilee's Middle Ground show to play the comic relief, then did a psychotic follow-up.
Something is about to be played here, and it is deceptively edited. I understand. It is beeped in a way that suggests it's saying something different. I'm giving you a warning ahead of time to know that Alec is not saying the thing you might think he's saying. I'm just going to say that right now.
Stream seething about the fact he's been out-debated by a bunch of...
Also, yeah, I didn't even address the last take. I'm just going to assume that I think I know what he's saying, and that's one of those ones you can't just fucking drum into. I think what he's trying to articulate is that sometimes, like, children have adult bodies, and if you don't realize immediately that they're children, it doesn't make you a freak. because you saw like an adult body with a mind of a child and were like, oh, hey, that's a nice body. Once you realize they're children, the disgust should flow deeply through you and you go, ah! You know what I mean? That happens. You know what I mean? Like if somebody, because children mature their bodies before their brains do, which is why you got to give yourself a nice buffer between 18-year-olds and adults. You know what I mean? That's why it's weird to try to date 19-year-olds. Their bodies will mature. Their brains aren't there. That's why it's gross. That's why it's extra gross. But if you were like to see someone and go like, oh, hey, and then you realize like they turn around and it's like a child's face. Like, like fucking, yeah, ew. That's the point. You got to have that. You got to be really exuberant about that, though. You got to hammer it home. It's fucking gross to be attracted to kids and people under 18. As far as I'm concerned, are children. I can't even think of a fucking person. Really, dude, the older I'm getting, man, just mentally, it's just, dude, Jesus fucking Christ. I don't understand how people date someone like that. I'm not going to infantilize legal adults that are over the age of 18. You are what you are. You know what I mean? You're discovering life. You're a young adult, really. You know what I mean? You got your own subsection. Somebody made that point. You got your own subsection of literature because you're still kind of confused. But I think like, you know, if you go to bars and hook up with somebody that's in their like 50s or something, I don't think that's a big judgment against the guy in his 50s. But if there's a guy in his 50s that's constantly trying to date only like 19 to 20-year-olds, I think that's extremely bizarre. That's very weird behavior. It all gets fucking strange around that point. It's fucking grimy. So you got to watch out when you fucking talk about it. This will get clipped out of context. It is what it is. Just know that don't fucking hurt kids. Like literally just don't hurt kids. Okay. Just assume anybody with a teen at the end of their age is too young to be sexually interested in ever. And just leave that alone. Just start at minimum 20. At minimum, just start at 20. That's fine. Just start at 20 for your I'm interested in people of a certain age. And then once you actually become a real adult in your 30s, then you go, 25 even. Kind of pushing it. I was looking at fucking Instagram thoughts the other day, because I do. I like a good butt here and there. And I had a moment where I was like, oh my God, what if these people are too young? The girl I was looking at was like 30. And what I thought was young, she's like fucking 30. I'm like, well, I guess it's like still 6 years younger than me. Oh, the fucking. Oh my God, almost all of them I was fucking looking at her. It was just like almost my age. Some of them are older than me. I'm weird. I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'm actually very normal. My wife doesn't care. She looks at hot girls too. Oh my God. Why do people on the internet like giving their takes on the ethicality of pedophilia? I don't know. I think it all comes from the like free speech era of it. Like there's a reason that fucking like you guys know who Amos Yee is? Amos Yee is like literal like pedophile for children. Amos Yee was like really, really big in right-wing circles. Like really, really big in right-wing circles. And so was Shadbase, however you're supposed to say that fucking name. That person was really, really big too, because part of the like mid-early 2010s internet culture conversation was what is free speech and what is okay and what really is like libertarian is kind of what it was, because like the internet was considered very libertarian. Ron Paul was a massive meme on 4chan for the longest fucking time. And it was like about personal freedoms. And part of that conversation was you have to be highly dedicated to other people's pursuit of their personal freedoms in order to like get your own. And that sort of in a weird way changed to like, hey, as a person who supports the individual personal freedoms of other people as a libertarian, like I'm going to support the most disgusting thing you've ever seen in your fucking life. And that was one of those moments you're like, what were we talking about? All these conversations made sense. And now I feel like I'm all of a sudden, like I'm having a stroke. What's going on? And like, it's crazy how fast that turned into like Gamergate. Wow. Like literally like a chemical transition. You know, when something just like snaps into a whole different like form of matter, you're like, what in the fuck? I didn't know that that was a catalyst for that. And it was all along. Yeah. And I don't think there's any sort of ethicality with trying to hurt kids. I think it's all don't fuck with anyone that's going to high school. I don't care if they're fucking 4 years held back. You shouldn't be fucking with them. Just don't. Give them fucking 5, 10, 15 years of barrier. Go talk to people your own age is really the thing. Go have a conversation with someone that was born the same year as you. Embrace the fact that you're going to fucking die. And get over it. All right? Fucking everybody's showing that. I'm sick of this fucking Sydney Sweeney. I don't know. That's a child. Fucking Sydney Sweeney's hot as shit. Sydney Sweeney's hot. Like, dude, I just saw her in White Lotus and she was a teenager. Like, stop showing me her in a bikini. I know it's like she's got gigantic tits, but her face looks like a child to me. I don't want to see that. Literally stop putting her everywhere. I'm so fucking lame, I guess. The first time that ever happened to me was with Selena Gomez. I remember it because I was in college and I was older than most of the people I was in college with because I didn't start at 18. I started at 22 because I was in the military. And somebody told me like, yeah, Selena Gomez, like I'm super into her because whatever. And I think they were literally the same age as Selena Gomez. This is me talking to like, I'm like 24 or something. I'm not going to try to remember the actual ages, but that person I'm pretty sure was the exact same age as Selena Gomez and had grown up along with her on like whatever, the Disney Channel or some shit. And I was like, ew. And they're like, what do you mean? Like, she's super hot. I was like, that's like she's like 12, isn't she? And they're like, no, she's like 19, 20 years old. She's like an adult. And like, and they like showed me and I was like, nah. I just like, nah, I don't think so. I don't fucking think so. No, it's okay. I was like, ugh. Most of my conversation around it is to just try to tell people that like every once in a while you're going to make a mistake or something, you know? If you showed me like, I didn't know her, I didn't see her face or whatever. It was like Sydney Sweeney from like the neck down. It was just like a gigantic set of fucking Hooters. I can't even say like that's the most non-breasts, you know? And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever. And then you show me your face. I'm like, you know, like it retroactively fucks me up going back because I'm like, ooh, no. That's the case. If that happens to you, you don't have to like think about like, oh goddamn, no, I got to join the fucking cult of fucking of weirdos. You know, I got to stick up for that. Just, it's okay. You had a gross feeling, you had a gross moment. Get over it. It's fine. It's that's the appropriate reaction, and move the fuck on. It's okay. You know what I mean? You don't have to feel guilty about it for the rest of your fucking life. You're just going to the beach is harder. I miss being a fucking teenage boy, fucking out of your mind. When you're like a 15-year-old kid, you can be like, hell yeah, the world's my fucking oyster. Everybody's hot, and everyone's fucking older than me. Like, it's completely okay. Now I'm a fucking old man. I'm like, oh my god, the fucking old blue eye Frank Sinatra's "It Was a Very Good Year" is starting to hit me real hard because I'm up to the 35. I'm past the 35. It was a very good year. Only got like one more verse left and then I die.
Inner city high school kids and grandmothers.
All judging me. Look at them fucking staring me down, dude. They fucking hate me.
I have a savior complex as an older brother, and I will save you whether you like it or not. So that's just me.
You want to be a savior and you're using me to make your...
He did not. You're supposed to say bazongas. You got to go to the language that was sexist in 1962 because it's so fucking cartoony. Then you can like describe it. Bazooka blasters is what you're supposed to say. Her bazoom, look at the Cadillacs on that Lincoln. Fucking 1950s, every fucking thing was a car. He does not say the N-word here, although it does sound like he's saying it.
They
He's I believe not saying it. I don't know what he could be saying, but I was listening in the Chud Logic chat. They said he did not say that then. So deceptive if true. Deceptive if true. Bad card posting. Bad. L card posting. Because that's way too much. Oh no, Mox. The $2 super chat. LOL, you're old.
fucking hate me.
I have a savior complex as an older brother, and I will save you whether you like it or not. So that's just me.
You want to be a savior and you're using me to make yourself feel good. That's what I'm
How am I
hearing.
hurting you?
You're not letting me have my own voice. You're not letting me speak.
How? You're speaking now?
No,
You're cutting her off.
He's too mad.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like I have to.
This isn't about love. This is just about making the world a fucking better place. This isn't about me personally loving this bitch or this okay?
This, by the way, is the same now deleted stream of Gunter's where he tells his audience that when he's losing an argument, he finds that the best thing to do is just to make shit up and lie.
I hate feeling uncomfortable. Obviously, you don't want to
See, when they give anecdotes, just fucking make shit up. That's exactly the opposite. Lie back. Just lie back. So now what? Now what? Now you have nothing. I thought that I came off looking pretty damn good. I think I did a pretty damn good job. And I think that those little snide remarks that I make were perfect for this format. If you're going to, like get a point across in a format like this, what I've learned from this experience is those little quips are perfect.
And it should be noted that when I called
Yeah, I gotta say, I might have to watch that one. I hate watching Jubilee. I'm not a big fan of it. It's one of those things where it's always just like, it's like watching like your little brother play video games and you're like, give me the fucking controller right now. Probably everybody feels like that. I just want to answer the questions. I just want, especially every time there's like a weird leftist on it, I'm like, can I just go have a conversation with him instead? I love Destiny always wearing his fucking merch and people are like, wow, it's a real flex he's wearing his merch. It's like, dude, he doesn't buy clothes. The dude just has a fucking preternatural fascination with the color blue.
Gunter's stream Psychotic just then, that wasn't merely a glib remark about mental health for the sake of rhetorical emphasis either. Gunter himself would like you to think his streams are psychotic too. He must reckon it gives him a bit more wiggle room to make up insane accusations about trans grooming cults and the like. After he did his big video on me, the one where he accused me of wanting to groom people into a trans sex cult, he stopped streaming for a little while. And then, in his first stream back, I reckon that in order to get ahead of any criticism that might come back his way because of all the crazy accusations he'd been making, he claims that actually, he was in a bipolar manic state the last few months or more, and I think he basically just tries his best to lay the groundwork for a mental health pity defense. Take a look.
I've had really bad executive dysfunction like these past couple months, honestly. Shortly before I took the break, I was already feeling it. I was like super burned out. There was also some stuff going on like with the drama community that I really don't want to get into.
Does this make Woody wet again? I don't know what that means.
Because I don't want to get clipped or whatever. But like there was a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes on top of like just burnout and...
He was saying they were staring daggers rather than the N-word. Oh man, there's one I gotta watch with you guys. You guys will get a kick out of. Have you ever seen the like 6 black guys, 1 secret white guy panel? Oh fuck, we gotta watch that. We gotta watch that. I will take you. You don't even know cringe. You don't even fucking know cringe. I will take you on a goddamn roller coaster. I swear to God. I gotta cover that. I gotta cover that on fucking stream.
Feeling like I'm not good enough for this job. You know, like it's not really a job, I guess, yet at least. I should say it's not my primary job. You know, on top of all that was like it was complicating the executive dysfunction that I already have as a result of ADHD. So my guess, not to self-diagnose, but my guess is that I'm bipolar, and I was in a manic phase for like a few months, at least a few months, if not longer.
I'll also point out that since he made his big wild accusation of me, Gunter has even gotten into arguments with random callers in from his audience who point out how absurd his claims of me are. And in those, he still defends making the claim and maintains it's true, while also distancing himself from the responsibility of making the claim by saying he's just putting his thoughts out there, and then he just usually deflects from answering at all by saying he forgets. Take a look.
since I
So then
posted
why
that
did you
video.
go and accuse him of being a rapist, a cultist,
I
a
didn't accuse
groomer?
him of that. Somebody from an official
Yes,
org
you did. In your video,
somebody
you
from an
said
official
that he's
org
trying
did.
to start
and
his
I just
own
was
cult.
I was putting out, yes, that's my thoughts. I did not make
you
an
put
official.
out your thoughts that somebody's starting a cult?
Are you actually
fucking
interested
crazy?
in what I have to say or not? Are you just here to bash me?
I am interested in hearing how you answer
Okay,
these
then
questions
explain.
because I think.
Then let me explain.
Okay, what?
Sorry, I meant let me explain.
Oh, go. You go ahead.
Okay. I already forgot what I was saying. What's your question?
So here's my problem. I'm just a progressive.
This motherfucker, he took this shit personal. This is some wild fucking clipping. I'm not saying it's disingenuous. I'm just saying it's very funny. Cardposting has a very dark sense of humor, I think. There's some people that have suggested that cardposting is actually like super deep, hardcore, like he's an actual, like a true, like ascended fucking TV chud. Which I would never say trans grooming cult. Shut the fuck up. Get away. If I were to find out that that card posting is a trip friend on 4chan's TV board, I would not be surprised at all. This is the build of a guy who has fucked around on Lit for a while, which is trust me, it's a darker accusation than the one that Gunter made, and also one that has way more evidence just in here. Not a judgment at all, but like cardposting's got it, man. Cardposting's got it. That's a funny fucking clip. That's a funny clip. It kind of doesn't even necessarily like prove the whole point. Like you're past that, but I don't know. It's that's a good sense of comedy, I gotta say.
Person who started doing YouTube videos as a fun little hobby. I don't have any aspirations of an online media career, nor would I ever needlessly attack another person on the platform or want to start beef. But within like a few months of me just being here, doing my own thing, making some videos, talking about stuff that interests me, along came this big bellowing ape who wants to become the next big streamer based off of a conversion story of becoming a liberal like a couple years ago.
Card spam posts on 4chan? No way. Card, if you're watching, I demand you tell me your trip code. I demand you tell me your trip code and your home board. I demand it. Card, you owe me $5. You just have to give it to me. If you're a fucking TV poster, if TV is your home board, which is the deepest vibe, because nobody else would talk about Sneed posting. I'm going off of just a couple videos and actually having funny as shit clips. If I find out you're a fucking TV poster, I just win. I win nothing. I don't even want your money. I don't want your filthy Canadian, Australian dollars. But that would be fucking hilarious. Just the sense of like, this would make a pretty good WebM. It would be even funnier to find out that he just like didn't like 4chan and studied it and then just accidentally became an absolute fucking TV poster. That would be hilarious as shit.
And he starts attacking me and calling my identity fake and harassing me and making wild, outlandish claims about.
Not a comrade? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Do you think Joker would be a 4chan poster? Like the actual one? No. There would be people that pretended to be, if the Joker was real, there would be people that pretended to trip as the Joker on 4chan all the time. The actual Joker would be a fucking like 6 viewer AMA poster on Reddit, and that's it. And then he would have a psychotic fucking like Stormfront blog. That's it. Not Stormfront. What am I saying? What's that thing? Substack. I said Stormfront, but I repeat myself. He would have a psychotic Substack blog with like 6 followers who give him insane amounts of money. He would do Reddit AMAs for those exact same people, like an audience of 16, and then would be insanely fucking famous on all of the sideboards, and people would fake trip as him on 4chan all the time. That's what it would be. Constant fake tripping. No, I don't think the fucking Joker would log into 4chan at all. I think he would be baffled by it. He would hate it. It's the anonymity would fucking drive him nuts. Joker's an MLP user. If he was in any board, it would probably be fucking. The lame answer would be B. The true answer would be trash. He said Wekikai or whatever the fuck. Oh, he's in the fuck OE board, whatever. He's drawing in Flash. The Joker would be the last Flash poster. Just over there in fucking Flash. God, you guys remember when fucking 4chan still had rapid shit? You don't know. People are like, oh, 4chan, the devil. You use 4chan, you're going to hell. Dude, once upon a time, the only way to watch anime, I swear to God, in this country, was to go to fucking RP, which is Rapid Share, which was like the old fucking like torrent. And that's like the best. That was one of the most gangbusters way to torrent episodes of shit. People are like, dude, give me the rapid shit. Give me the rapid shit leak. Give me the rapid shit. Rapid shit. I need leaks. Leaks. When leaks? When's leaks? And then you would watch that shit. That's how I watched the entire fucking first season of Rick and Morty was fucking on 4chan's RP. It's just not roleplay. Or is it RS? No, oh my God, I was saying RP. RP probably is roleplay. RS, it was rapid shit. Rapid share. The RS board. Give me the RS for it. I sound like a fucking idiot. I'm fucking like hard searching through Rapid Share to try to find a fucking link to some, like, I need to see Blood Plus episode 3 because I need to understand the meme about the people getting shish kebabbed. You finally watch the episode. I'm like, I still don't understand anything about what's going on here. It's about deep. I've been on 4chan. I don't know if you understand, but the poll board is very racist. Like, dude, tell me about fucking trying to RS share goddamn anime episodes in 2010. I'll hear you out about your opinions on the fucking on the old fucking chins.
About me, which seems like a...
Is card posting here? No, fuck off. Well, I've done 2 videos about 4chan. If you want that lore, absolutely. Is it just about all of 4chan? I saw your Sneed video and I died laughing. I don't know if you meant it to be funny, but your delivery of Sneed posting is one of the most 10 out of 10 content chunks I've ever fucking experienced in my life. I loved every second of it. It says Sneed's feed and seed. Formerly Chucks. Bro, I fucking cactuared over that shit. I was losing my fucking mind. I was so fucking happy. I will cover more card posting stuff. I really will. I hope you're not feeling too dogged on by this. Card would either be sock, R9K, takes it seriously, or lit, rage posts. Nobody goes on sock. R9K, maybe. R9K users are all either fucking absolute trash or like ascended fucking meme lords. I couldn't fuck with R9K. I thought it was too fucking irritating.
Part of a pattern of behavior for him, and I don't like that. Frankly, I shouldn't have to tolerate it. When I made my last video mentioning all this and explaining in detail why Gunter's claims about me were demonstrably false, I said I wouldn't be interacting with him anymore. And I stand by that too, because this isn't a video responding to him. Because you can't debate something like these accusations he's made of me. You can debate whether or not, say, a reactionary meme is real, and whether or not people should be aware of it. You can debate with someone and banter about optics or different types of presentation. But you simply can't discuss something with someone just intent on lying about you. So, this is the part of the video where all that theoretical stuff I started with about asking people to divest from bad things and bad people comes back into it. This video is made principally for other people who are themselves established figures in the sphere of online left-of-center streaming and debating and video making. I've shown you that Alec Gunter has lied a lot about me. He's done a lot of things that shouldn't be welcome in progressive spaces, and this is likely just the tip of the iceberg. Once again, I'll even suggest you possibly go and watch all of the videos we've both done about this that are linked at the top of this video's description. But if you're someone who interacts with Alec Gunter here online, or you're in the same spaces as him, you should pick a side here. And I think the correct choice to make would be to say that he should not be welcomed into your online social circle or your sphere of collaboration.
Hush, Triptych. A wizard never mutes his Discord. He listens precisely when he wants to.
And content making. And I'm asking, very openly, for the big network and groups he's associated with to formally cut ties with him, at least until he makes some significant changes and takes responsibility for what he's done. That would mean, first and foremost, Alec Gunter is the newest name in the Vouch-centric stable of creators that all share a website provider and a posting service, is he not? Gunter having any sort of notable subscribership is solely because of Vouch's platforming of him, and I feel like I've got a very legitimate grievance here of Vouch and his network that they've enabled someone to accuse me of running a sex cult to tens of thousands of people. Vouch, I know I called you a pedophile earlier, but that's just a statement of facts. I need you to rein in your large adult son here. But don't just say you don't support this sort of behavior. Meaningfully separate him from your network. He's done a lot wrong. Don't just denounce him, Bosch. Divest from him. See, the title of this video could be read in two ways. It's clever. And that call for divestment from Gunter should also be aimed at a lot of the big real-world activism packs he's in, like a Progressive Victory. Alec Gunter works for them. He appears in videos for them. He does canvassing for them. All of which I think he sees as simply another way to...
Did he say stable of creators? No, my friend. There's layers to this. There's a depth of fucking lore knowledge in this video that is like way too fire. Somebody said lit. I think, dude, I started with TV, but this might be legitimately one of the only IRL fucking lit homeboys in the history of mankind. He fucking finally answers. He says it's work safe GIF. Like, what? I actually made all of the Adult Swim bumpers on 4chan for 6 years. I'd be like, yes, this is fucking fire.
Beacon, his public media profile. My question to whoever's got their hands on the levers of power over at Progressive Victory is, can you not platform people like that? He's not good. Moving another rung down the ladder, I don't actually expect Vouch will acknowledge the actual harm his newest protege is doing. So I'll ask the other people associated with that network. If you're another creator on Vouch's site, on his network, using that same streaming infrastructure, you're currently lumped in with Alec Gunter. Would you be willing to say to your peers over there and to Vouch and to your network admins, hey, either remove Alec Gunter from the group or you'll walk? I personally don't know the super deep political streamer lore, so I'm not 100% sure who's exactly partnered up with who over there, but someone who I believe is the political streamer Demon Mama. So I just wanted to briefly address her here specifically. I don't often watch your stuff, but you're in the same milieu, right? And I believe you, very correctly and honestly, acknowledged not too long ago that what Keffels did was very bad. And more recently, you've also correctly articulated why the streamer Xanderhall is not someone who should be uncritically trusted in progressive circles. Well, can I respectfully ask you, Demon Mama, to take the moral stance here on Alec Gunter? Because, as I hope I've brought across in this video, he's someone willing to attack real lefties for clout and clicks. He seriously calls people pedophiles and cult leaders, and I think is nowhere near the actual ally to trans people he likes to present himself as. And now I've been dragged into having a problem with him, and by extension your network, because he tried to do all that to me. Another person of note I'd like to mention by name, or by their handle, is another streamer, not in the Vouch network, but arguably adjacent to it and the drama it creates, who has interacted directly with Alec Gunter before.
You know what he's going to say. I've already pre-watched this.
President Sunday, you seem like a smart person. I know you did a well-intentioned collaborative discussion with Gunter after his really bad Jubilee appearance too. And you're a streamer around this same 5-digit figure of subscribers level who also correctly denounces a lot of the bad things that have been being done by lefty content creators recently. Would you please also consider everything I'm putting in front of everyone today and call this what it is? Really bad? And if you're someone who's subscribed to Gunter after he got raised up by Vouch, could you consider reflecting earnestly and critically on whether or not Alec is someone you want to continue to follow and support? Because you're not doing yourself, or the online left, any favors by tacitly supporting someone like that.
I gotta say, I'm cutting him off at the height of it. Trust me, I told you I was like half listening to this the first time because it was on another stream. And when I heard that last little bit be said was after the drama. It was after the drama had started. And I had an out of body fucking experience. Like I literally, dude, I almost got an Aaron Hansen chin there. I like raised up out of my fucking body, like, what the fuck? Holy shit. That's a crazy something. Why those two names specifically? Like, what? All I gotta say, like, he said this shit, and I immediately went like, I need to fucking reassess my entire life. Dude, I just went, what in the fuck? Why, like, how is this guy so on it? Damn. Like, that's a crazy, crazy thing to say. All this shit was coming out at the same time. The reason I was in fucking Chud's chat at the moment was literally because they had just finished listening to my DM video. And I was like, oh, okay. And then he started fucking on Cardposting, and I was like, oh no, Cardposting. But he had like covered Cardposting's Sneed thing. I was like, I don't know, my fucking Cardposting's gonna talk about Alex Gunter. Like, I've been nice to Alec Gunter, not particularly close. But I sent him a super chatter here and there and talked to him a bit. I was like, oh, and I did sort of like light up Cardposting and had fucking Gunter in chat and shit. And it was like, all right, so was I wrong? And then this video happened, and I would just like listen to it off and on. I was like, what in the fuck? And then it ends this way, and I was just like, what the fuck? What in the fuck, man? Like, just on it, bro. Based Cardposting. Like, he got me, dude. And I was like, I gotta reassess this shit. I always planned to watch this video once like some time had gone, and then it was like, you know, it's me, so I'm ADD about everything. And then fucking Cardposting sent me a goddamn message. I saw Cardposting had joined, because I always double check here and there when I see people have joined just to make sure. Because every once in a while somebody joins the Discord and their name's just like, you know, Slur Crime 1488. And it's like, yeah, I'm gonna get ahead of that. And then one person said it's Cardposting, and I was like, you have to be the real Cardposting or you're fucking banned, because that's, first off, fucking funny as shit. I wouldn't say that to most people. Like, I got some heavy hitters in our Discord, actually. They probably joined a bunch of them just to check on what's going on. But normally I don't care. I won't try to double check them. But for this one specifically, I had to like make sure, because small enough for people to try to like shit talk. And I didn't want that to happen. And I also wanted to make sure, you know, like they weren't going to come in and try to pretend to not be Cardposting. I talked to him. I was like, okay, I'll cover this video. He's like, you know, you kind of uncritically platformed Gunter. I'm like, all right, fair enough. I think I did. I'll literally take your word for it, because I definitely didn't critically platform him. So yeah, probably I'll check the vid out. I'm glad I did. Thank you for stopping by Cardposting. I'm gonna let you finish, but goddamn, when I heard this in that other chat, I was like, this shit's changed. Like, it's a different year after February, and it's completely changed up. Somebody said this to me, like, you know, the biggest thing that fucking, the biggest part of your year in 2024 was fucking Vosh leaving that debate with you. And actually, the biggest part of 2024 for me was Lore Lodge, for some reason, getting into a debate with me. That was definitely the most unexpected aspect of 2024. But I was like, man, the biggest thing for Vosh was probably that fucking taxes folder incident, because I think things have changed now because of that. And it really does feel like it's a different world to a degree. Like, this is not what it was. This is crazy. Like, the power differential is like much, it's flipping. I think for the better. I'll take based fucking Cardposting coming off a little twitchy, a little hardcore, but unironically either so fucking funny that either such a sense of fucking comedy that he's like transcended like the physical plane, or just a very good ability to pick clips from people with a good sense of humor. You know, I'll take that over a lot of other looks most days. And I'm going to let him finish, and then I'll get my final thoughts on this whole thing. And I'll talk a little bit about fucking Papa G too, because I don't want to fucking leave him completely out in the cold. It's not how I do it.
Apart from all that, if you're just some random viewer of mine, would you consider recommending this video to any of the internet drama news pages you might also watch? Asking for views is gauche, but frankly, I want this criticism to be seen by as many people as possible, even if it means hoping that it lands into the lap of the content mill drama channels. It's a bit unfortunate to want that to happen, but hey, I'm telling the truth, and I don't fear inquiry. And Alec Gunter has been able to get away with smearing me and doing a lot of other stuff, it looks like, by virtue of the fact he isn't under the scrutiny of much of an audience beyond his own diehard fans he scooped off of Vaush, and the Discord people he dictates to what they are and aren't allowed to discuss and think about.
It's a bit
As someone
excessive.
who's been in far-left anarchist organising circles for about 10 years now, I think corrective measures should come from someone's community. And I'm asking that the people in this online YouTube video space take note of what Alec Gunter has done, what he is still doing, and they apply the social pressure needed to make this guy fix his behavior. That's just about all I've got to say today. Please just think about it. Goodbye for now. Have a lovely day, and stay safe out there.
Yeah, no, solid video, card posting. A little vengeance heavy at times. There was obviously Alec did not say the N-word, screaming bleeped. There were some liberties taken. However, also given the situation where, you know, if you're taking somebody out of context and stuff, when you criticize them or kind of being disingenuous, or if you're sending them threatening stuff, the game on the internet is not about being like straight up and truthworthy, you know, above board first, especially when you get down into the fucking like into the meme pits, basically where we are. So I also can't fault them too much. Some things kind of weird, some things kind of inaccurate, a little bit over. I think ultimately card posting fire video. I like actually no notes. I could not. If you're pissed at somebody and you're going to make a fucking response video to try to fuck their shit up and get them to back the fuck off, I cannot think of a better video to make. Like inspirational.
Hope you enjoyed your time on the Westside. Don't forget to subscribe.